2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Thirty seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Let me tell you, the response to the show has been absolutely amazing. People can't believe that a young conservative millennial continues to fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and talks about issues that some are even afraid to talk about. But we do it because we understand the importance of this. And now we're seeing it absolutely blow up all across the nation.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's a Monday. Welcome into the show. It's great to have you along for the ride today. Boy, do we have a lot to get to today. It always seems like the weekend is the time when everybody likes to come out with news and talk about crazy things. But yet, here we are trying to recover, trying to get back into the swing of things the way we do every single day. Welcome into the show, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the flagship, all over the country on radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting. Doesn't really matter. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Monday here on the Voice of Reason. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, they're all up and going. The website's up as well at HooserReason.com. But go to YouTube. Check us out there. We do have it live streaming on YouTube as well. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It was a great weekend. It's nice here in Wichita. It's nice here in the middle of the country. We had a little bit of a cooler breeze, a little bit cooler weather, but overall, not too bad. And I will say, during this whole COVID shutdown thing, the schools are still doing most of the classes virtual, which I have to ask you, try and get a 6-year-old in first grade. Try and get a 6-year-old to actually do virtual classes all day long. See how well that works out for you. As a hint, Mrs. Voice of Reason, not enjoying it a whole lot. Trying to keep a 6-year-old entertained and focused on a laptop for the live streaming and a virtual is very difficult to do. And by the way, they take way too many breaks. It would be easier to actually just homeschool. Just to start the homeschooling, have us do the classes for her teacher. That way, do it in like a 3 or 4 hour block. Boom, be done, move on about our day. But instead, they draw it out to like 8 hours. Now, what happens if you have any kids at home? You'll understand this if you're doing the virtual thing. If not, maybe you don't have any more kids. Just imagine this for a second. Picture this. You have a 6-year-old sitting in front of a screen with your teacher. There's about 5 other students, whatever it is that you have on that virtual, that are there listening to the teacher as well. And they're trying to go over stuff. They go for about 20 minutes and they say, all right, we're going to stop the transmission. You as the parent who's not homeschooling right now, but you're there watching and surveilling and watching your kid at 6 years old learn about how to do schooling over virtual classes. We're going to stop the virtual class. You're going to work with your kid to do the homework, and then we'll reconvene in about a half an hour. So they stop the virtual, they do the classwork, And then they get back on and get ready to do the virtual class again for the teacher to give the next assignment. Now, the parent needs to log all of this for auditing purposes to make sure that the students are logging a certain amount of hours in the school district in order for the school district to say that they've completed the actual work. So as the parent, you're already doing the audit, you're already working with your kid on the assignment, you're already listening to the teacher on what they need to do next, and they only jump on for about a half hour to an hour at a time, then they take like a 45-minute to an hour break. At this length, why don't you just do homeschooling? You get it all done in about a 4-hour time frame, and then you're done, and you go about your business. And by the way, then you could actually learn the curriculum that you want to teach your children, and it would be way more efficient. Now, we've had fun. Now, obviously, I'm not there all day long, so my wife has fun with it for the most part, where she makes them actually do it in a very entertaining way, and she actually has her do math while she's sitting on the trampoline that we tied down and strapped down to the top of our vehicle about a month ago. That is still there, and she enjoys that trampoline, and now we do math problems on it. We have chalk, out on the sidewalk for her to learn the spelling and the reading. We read the books. I mean, we do everything at home anyways and find creative ways to do it. I would say that that's a way easier way. Just homeschool and have fun with it rather than, we're going to jump on the virtual, then we're going to do it for 20 minutes, and we're going to jump off the virtual, then we got to wait for the teacher to get back on, and then they say, okay, now we're going to take another break. And by the way, did you realize they take 3 hand washing breaks during the day while they're at home? Now, please, explain to me. Does that make any sense to anybody? Come on. Not to knock the school district. It's actually a really good school district, and it really is. So I don't want it to come off that way. But just the mindset of virtual classes is absolutely absurd. And I know you're trying to teach the kids proper hygiene by stopping to wash your hands 3 times a day, but you're at home. And if your parents haven't taught you to wash your hands already, then your parents need to go back to school in the first place. Come on, man. Welcome back into the show. It's great to have you today. It is the Monday. We have a lot to get to. We're trying to get a hold of our guest today, not able to get a hold of him. We need to reschedule because it's a great book, and I want to get him on. Dr. Lance Wallnau. He is author of God's Chaos Code, Donald Trump, the ancient code that reveals America's future and the destiny of nations. So maybe a future fortune teller. We'll get him on the show here either later on in the program or at a later date, but was unable to connect with him when we tried to call him for the show. So we'll get him back on in a little bit. But that's all right. There's plenty to talk about as we have President Trump announcing earlier today that at 6:30 this afternoon, in many places where the show is running on radio, that's already done, but at 6:30 this afternoon, Trump was planning on leaving the hospital and actually going back to the White House. That's great news. But it brings up a couple questions, doesn't it? Doesn't it, raise a couple of flags? He was in there for 2 days. Now, I don't know the length of time, the average length of time that someone that had COVID that went and got hospitalized actually went in to be maybe on the oxygen or to just be there under supervision. I don't know. I don't know what the average time frame is for someone that's in the hospital for COVID-19. 2 days seems a little short, which tells me either number one, that he's hiding his symptoms because he wants to look strong going into the election, which is what the media is trying to play off, or he's actually not that sick, which is what he's trying to play off. So it really depends on what side of the political aisle you're on. Unfortunately, yes, someone's health actually falls into the political category of whether you believe them or whether you believe the other people looking at him. Whatever side you fall on, his health has now become political. They've lost their minds that he got out of the hospital to do a drive-by to wave and thank everybody for showing up at the hospital, which, by the way, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have showed up to the hospital to show their support for President Donald Trump, and now that's become political because how dare he leave the hospital and actually contaminate someone sitting in a vehicle. Although the vehicle had a barrier between the back seat and the front seat, and the person that was driving the vehicle volunteered to do it because they thought it was that important. That's crazy. So he didn't contaminate it. The windows rolled up. He's got the mask on. He's waving at everybody to say thank you. What a terrible, horrible jerk he is, right? To show support for his supporters and actually show his gratitude for them to actually be there supporting what he's doing. What a terrible, horrible jerk. It doesn't make any sense to me. But now he's going to get released 2 days later. He went to the hospital, Friday? And he's getting out on Monday. Okay, so 3 days. 3 full days there. And they're saying, well, he's not, the oxygen levels were really low. He was on a ventilator for a little bit of time. He was on oxygen for a while because he was really, really bad. Maybe he didn't have that bad of symptoms. Maybe the vaccine that they gave him as an experimental thing is actually working. But why don't they actually just listen to the doctors? They listen to him and take them for what it is. I don't know if you're aware or not, or if you follow this in any way, shape, or form. He's actually posted numerous videos, one before he went to the hospital, one where he was at the hospital working, one before, like yesterday, before he went to go drive around to say hi to all the people from the hospital, and then saying, you know what, I'm going to get out. He's been constantly on video. For the 2 days that he's been there, I think he's been a little transparent, haven't you? Now, of course, they criticize the doctors for saying that they covered it up, that he was on oxygen, and, you know, they tried to say, oh, he's actually a lot sicker than what they were. They're losing their minds. Absolutely losing their minds, because how badly do you have to be in a panic state to try and guess someone's state of health when they're right there in front of you? When he says, I have mild symptoms, I'm doing great, I'm feeling great. When Melania Trump tweets and says, you know what, I have a little bit of a headache, but I'm doing great, I'm feeling great. Mild symptoms. When you look at statistically, like 98% of people have asymptomatic issues anyways, but he's in that category where he's a little bit overweight and he's 74 years old, so now everybody's got to panic. And of course, he's the president of the United States. They need to take precautionary measures, and that's what that was when he went. But why the panic? I'll tell you why the panic. And by the way, the blog's up on the new website, so that way you can go check it out, because this is what we talked about during the blog. But I figured we could elaborate a little bit more with it because we have an opportunity to do so here on the radio. The reason they panic is to cause panic. The reason they've lost their minds over this is because they want to create concern, doubt in the heart of Americans. It's very simple. He's been extremely transparent. It should be a non-issue. Number one, it should be, wow, thoughts and prayers going out to the president and his family. Hopefully he recovers very soon. Two, it should be, wow, hopefully he gets out relatively soon so we can get back on track for this election. Three, it should be, wow, what did the doctors and he say himself, so that way we can report it. But instead, it's what did they say, so that way we can counter it and say, well, he's actually a lot sicker than what he's putting on. He's actually a lot sicker than what his doctor's actually saying. Because they want to create the doubt. If you don't think, if you're on the other side of the aisle and you honestly, truly do not think that there's political agendas in the media right now, you need to stop and pay attention for a second, because it's kind of evident, isn't it? Just a little bit. When they come out and say he's actually on a ventilator, his oxygen level's really low, Mike Pence is in the green room ready to jump in, and now we see a story as well here where potentially Nancy Pelosi is president of the United States because Mike Pence will fall with Donald Trump. And that's where it gets all full circle, doesn't it? They want to create the doubt because, number one, if they can create just a little bit of doubt, Donald Trump has some of the most diehard supporters out of any politician, other than maybe Barack Obama. But I would say even more so, because Barack Obama's, was there, but at the same time, they didn't like Joe Biden. He was just kind of the dummy in the background, so they didn't really pay attention to him. But Barack Obama was suave. He was cool. Everybody loved Barack Obama. The hope and change things worked very well, which is why he got 2 terms. But Donald Trump has just as much of a fan base and supporter base that's not going to go anywhere. He even said it. I could shoot someone on 8th Avenue or whatever, and I wouldn't lose a single vote. And so far, the Democrats try to say that that's true because no matter what he does, his supporters stay. And now, obviously, if he shot somebody, that wouldn't be the case. But yes, you know what? We stand by the president of the United States. We stand by the things that he's done because so far he hasn't done anything really that made us turn away from him. So as long as he's doing the right thing, we're going to continue to support him. It's not because of who he is. It's because of what he does. So, of course. But if they could create just a little bit of doubt, then those that are wavering, those that are like, oh, yeah, Donald Trump's kind of doing the right thing. But if they start thinking, oh, wow, maybe he's not going to be president for long. Maybe he's not going to get through this. Maybe there's not going to be a complete ticket by the time we get to November 3rd for the election. Maybe I need to reconsider my vote. And if they could get 1, 2, 3% of the vote to turn away from Donald Trump and vote for the more, I can't even say it, the more secure, that's funny, the more secure Joe Biden, because, he's obviously a lot older and he's a lot more feebler, but by golly, he's going to be the more sound vote. I don't know why that would be the case, but if they could create just that little bit of doubt from Donald Trump, then they could vote for Joe Biden and he could potentially run away with the race. That's what they're hoping for. Is it going to work? I doubt it. I know it's not going to. because he's going to come out strong. Look, he's a type A personality. He sleeps 3 hours a night. He calls in and actually outruns his 20-year-old interns trying to catch up with him on the campaign trail or in the White House, wherever he's at and whatever he's doing. He always outworks everybody else. He's going to be just fine. No one's concerned of that. And the fact that he was only in the hospital for 2-3 days before he gets removed, according to the news release where he's going to get released at 6:30 this evening, then he's going to be fine. But the media, he's hiding something. You need to reconsider here, because now if they put the doubt in, they can try and disrupt the election by either getting people to turn away or to say that he's incapacitated and not able to actually fulfill the duties of President of the United States. And if they're able to prove that, or if they're able to at least make people believe that in some way, shape, or form, they could try to invoke the 25th Amendment. They could have Mike Pence on there, and that destroys the ticket. And if he gets COVID too, because now Mike Pence is on the campaign trail, then guess what? He's out of the way. They invoke it again, and look who's president, Miss Nancy Pelosi, and look and see how that goes into the general election. That's worse than a 6-year-old actually doing virtual lessons at home. I tell you what, this is the Voice of Reason. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Missed part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe to any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yes, you are. Welcome back into the show. Thanks for hanging out with us today, wherever you may be. Radio, TV, live, streaming, podcasting. Doesn't matter. I want to focus some more on that 25th Amendment, trying to remove the president from his duties here in just a little bit. I think that's a really important focus that we need to have here as we get closer to the election and the politics being played with COVID and with President Trump getting COVID. So we'll touch on that after the bottom of the hour break. Some comments, though, coming through right now. Granddaughter goes to virtual school from 7:30 to 12:30, no breaks. Boy, isn't that nice? See, that would be a proper way to actually do this education thing. Going from virtual school 7:30 to 12:30, no breaks. You actually just do your thing and then be done. No, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but ours is just like, here's 20 minutes. Here's your schoolwork. Here's what you need to do for this project. We'll take a break. We'll cut it off, and then we'll reconvene in an hour. And as the parent, you need to remember the time frames because a lot of, obviously, 6-year-olds still learning how to tell time. And we ask her, a little voice reason, we go, so what time do you need to be back on? I don't know. When's your teacher going to be back on there for the virtual? I don't know. Great. All right. So now you need to stick around the computer and just wait and see when they jump back on there to be able to jump back on yours as well. Another listener, Fred, on there, cussing at school at the child's house and all the children can hear it in the background. Yeah, not at our house. Not at ours at all. In any way, shape, or form, but I'm sure that would be the case. Teacher says take 20-minute break and students not knowing how to tell the time. Yeah, that's very true. That's the struggle we have, especially for first graders. It's ridiculous. So ridiculous. Again, isn't it proven that like kids have a less rate of being able to spread it or actually have any symptoms or anything anyways? But it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't really matter. They don't care. They just want to continue on with their agenda of just showing this crazy mass amount of fear. There are many school districts that are starting to reconvene and reconsider now and be like, maybe we should reconsider this thing and we should just have kids in the classroom, but space it out to where there's only like 5 or 10 in a classroom, and you start bringing librarians in, you start bringing other teachers in, part-timers, and you actually use maybe churches, or you use libraries, or you use open areas to be able to spread the kids out more to let them at least do it in class or at least in person with the teacher. That would be ideal. Or you could just go back to normal business and tell them to kind of try and social distance, but of course that's not going to happen. Do you really think the kids aren't going after school and actually going and playing with each other out in the yard? Do you really think they're just staying away from everybody and just isolating in their nice little bubble? Give me a break. But that's politics for you as well. Then we have President Donald Trump getting released today, the media losing their minds, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But I want to give you some really good news, some exciting news. Over the weekend, we have broken the 20,000 downloads on the program. That's awesome. So thank you for that. As we break 20,000, now that's from a little bit. That's this show plus what we've done in the last couple of years. So it's been growing, but the numbers that we're seeing on average for the daily average of the program continue to climb every single day. So the fact that we broke 20,000 downloads, thank you for that. That is absolutely fantastic. Also, speaking of, with all this topic, the new blog is out, which the new blog went up just a little bit ago. The newsletter went out today, so if you missed the newsletter, then you need to sign up at HooserReason.com. You can get signed up and get the free newsletter in your email once a month at the beginning of the month. That went out earlier today. Our new blog is up on the website, and a new survey that went up just a little bit ago as well. So if you haven't done it yet, go to the new website at HooserReason.com. Fill out the new survey. My question to you on that survey today is, will this COVID testing positive for President Trump, will that have any impact or any effect on the election at all? Because I don't know if it will. Will some people be a little concerned with President Trump having COVID? Did he not take the virus seriously? Should he wear a mask more? Should he try to social distance more? Is he being a liar? Whatever that some may believe. Or is it just because it's a virus and he got it? Now they're saying it's actually airborne, so he could have just breathed it in and got it all on his own that way as well. We're not quite sure, but will this have any impact on the election? Will it help him or will it hurt him? Some people say it could actually help him as well. So that survey is up on the website again at HooserReason.com as well. Bottom of the hour break. When we come back, we'll talk about this 25th Amendment. Will they try to invoke this? Will Nancy Pelosi try to become president going into election season? And will this try to be the quote-unquote October surprise to rock the general election that's less than 1 month away? We'll do that and more when we come back. It's a Monday here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hooser Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hooser Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode.
Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, you are. Welcome back into the show. It's the Voice of Reason on a Monday. I'm Andy Hooser. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting. Doesn't matter where you're at. We appreciate it more than you can imagine. Trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Trying to rebrand the millennial generation one radio listener at a time. Because that's what we do. Welcome into the show. Make sure to visit us online at HooserReason.com. Also, all the social media at Hooser Reason. There's no I in Hooser, by the way. Hooser. Hooser Reason on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn. You can also find us on Minds.com and Parler. Yes, we are on Parler. And you can check us out there as well. We're starting to grow that. I haven't done a whole lot with the Minds.com or the Parler. I should probably start. I got like 50 followers on there. But we have it, and it's there. I just don't use it a whole lot because we can't live stream on there right now until maybe they upgrade that and they allow us to do so. But right now, there's not a whole lot. So I'm trying to somewhat post some articles or some comments or something on there when I can once in a while. So make sure to check it out on Parler and on Minds.com. We appreciate that very much. Did you see this? I don't know if you're aware of this or not. I would totally buy this house. Show of hands if you would. So, Silence of the Lambs. Remember that all the way back when? Hello, Clarice. Remember that one? The house of Buffalo Bill. It puts the lotion on its skin. The house that Buffalo Bill lived in is up for sale, according to the New York Post. The psychotic killer's Queens Anne style home was used and then for the 1991 film classic, but has been fully operational as a home since then. It is on the market for $298,000. It is out of Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. It sits on 1.7 acres, a 4-bedroom home with a sprawling front porch. The foyer has many of the original features, such as the trim and hardwood flooring pictured in the Academy Award-winning film. The dining room, where the Jodie Foster was filmed confronting Buffalo Bill, still has the same serial killer charm, as they've tried to continue to keep it as original as possible. But it's on sale for almost $300,000. That's not actually bad. $300,000 for a 2-acre lot with a nice 4-bedroom home, and it's got some history to it. I would totally buy that house. I would totally buy that. I think that would be fantastic. I wonder if it has the big hole in the basement as well. It puts the lotion on its skin. I don't know. Would you buy that one? Most people, my wife would too, actually. She'd be all about it because she's into the scary, creepy things like that. Most people would be like, no, that's okay. That's all right. So there's by the way, on that, just for a second before we get into the topic, there's actually rules and laws in certain states to where if there's like a death that's been in the home or if there's paranormal activity in some degree, that they, by law, have to tell you about it before you actually close on a home and purchase the home. Kansas is not one of those. They don't have to disclose it. They can, but they do not have to disclose it. So there's been a lot of cases around here where they find out there was actually a murder in the house, like, 50, 80 years ago or something, or that there's paranormal activity if there's weird things that go on, and they don't know about it until they actually purchase the home. So you can report it, but you don't have to. I find that fascinating. Just because you would think that most of the time, even if you don't believe in that stuff, if they're like, hey, there's some weird things that go on, doors kind of shut and open and close by themselves, or windows go open, or the faucets turn on, or there's like tapping, or you see crazy figures in the hallway, don't worry about it. It's just a ghost. Again, if you believe or not believe in it, but, you know, I definitely do. I will say, first off, I do believe in all that stuff. I've experienced many of it firsthand, and that'll be another story for another show, because that's not what we're about here on The Voice of Reason right now. But if you believe in that creepy stuff or you enjoy it, maybe you can go by the creepy house of Buffalo Bill from It Puts the Lotion on Its Skin. Hello, Clarice. Kind of interesting. All right, let's get back into the topic at hand here, shall we? So here's a headline from Politico.com. See, this is where the media loves to try and interject this as much as possible. They love to inject it just to put that doubt in your mind, to create that fear in your mind. Now, I don't understand how this can actually help their cause, because this would be more traumatizing to people, I think, than it would be to actually not. But here's the headline from Politico. President Pelosi? ? Pence prepares to risk it all for Trump. Here's the GOP one-line defense between a hospitalized commander-in-chief and a President Nancy Pelosi, and he's out to depart Washington on a 4-day campaign swing in the middle of his boss's health crisis. Vice President Mike Pence will travel into Utah today as he plays the Trump campaign's lead act for the foreseeable future, the high-profile surrogate for the president's re-election at the time when both men can at least afford another setback following Donald Trump's COVID-19 diagnosis. After months of campaigning in smaller, lower-profile settings, from greeting voters at roadside dinners to addressing blue-collar workers in deep rust belts, Pence will step into the spotlight this week for high-stakes debates against Democrat vice presidential candidate nominee Kamala Harris, a MAGA rally in Arizona, and a brief stop at his home state of Indiana to cast an early ballot in the 2020 race. So their thought, Trump's out because he's got COVID, which, come on, he's already tried to do a virtual rally. He's already getting out of the hospital. He's going to be back on the campaign trail here very soon. I know he's going to be quarantined for at least 2 weeks, but if he's not showing any symptoms, he's going to be back out and about. And you would think that if 98% of people that are asymptomatic and traveling around anyways and don't even know it, why is it such a hubbub about him actually going out and about if he's wearing a mask? I'm just curious. If he's social distancing and he's wearing a mask, I mean, you don't have to do both at the same time. But if you are, wouldn't that be the double whammy for them to be like, oh, okay, he's good to go? But they create the fear and the doubt that Donald Trump's going to be out and about, so therefore Mike Pence is out traveling, and if he gets COVID, oh man, then that means we just need to remove him altogether. I mean, because according to the media, Donald Trump is not able to be the commander-in-chief right now. Therefore, Mike Pence is campaigning and kind of handling things in the green room, in the back, ready to go. And then he gets the virus, and he's going to be down and out. So therefore, if both of them are confirmed with COVID contractions, it's not the fact that they're still leading, but it's the fact that they have the virus, and therefore Nancy Pelosi would try to invoke the 25th Amendment 2 times in order to remove them and make her president of the United States. Now, for those of you that don't know, the 25th Amendment, Section 1, in case of the removal of the president from office or his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president. Boom, that would be Mike Pence. Number 2, whenever there's a vacancy of the office of vice president, the president shall nominate a VP who still shall take office upon confirmation by a majority vote by both the House of by the majority vote of both houses of Congress. So the House and the Senate would vote. Mike Pence would choose somebody, and then they go about it. But they wouldn't allow that, because they're hoping in the month's time, this could be the Democrats' October surprise, is that Trump continues with COVID and is not able to be handling the duties as commander-in-chief. Boom, 25th Amendment, they move him out, which isn't going to happen, by the way. That's their hope. They move Mike Pence up before he can confirm anybody or choose a running mate with him, because all of a sudden, apparently, the ticket's going to be lost. Everybody's going to be voting Joe Biden. This is the conspiracy that they want to happen. They would remove him as well as soon as, boom, he gets COVID. Now Nancy Pelosi's going to be there. Now, their hope is to say, well, look, Republicans are irresponsible during this COVID pandemic. We need to have Democrats in charge here. Nancy Pelosi's somehow going to be the great leader here. Maybe she'll take time off from D.C. to go get her hair done again while the current lockdown continues on and the numbers continue to rise all over the nation. Death rates don't go up, but the COVID-19 confirmed cases go up, so therefore everybody needs to panic. She's going to take the leadership, and that's going to lead to a Democrat victory in November. I fail to see how any of this works, but this is going to be their hope. Their great hope on the left side of the aisle. they're already, I think, accepting defeat. If they're going to this extreme, the media is going to this extreme, their hope is that they can try and pre-plan out the election before it's even done. In fact, the markets are trying to say that as well. The media reporting on the markets and how they're responding. With President Donald Trump out and about and completely out, his leadership and the campaigner out as well because they've all gotten COVID. And nobody campaigning. Now, it doesn't matter with the hundreds of thousands of people that are walking around out there with Trump flags out at the hospital, all over the nation. They've kind of taken it upon themselves to be like, hey, we support President Trump and we're going to continue and do our thing. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't see them doing that for Joe Biden. But according to the media, that doesn't matter. The campaign's out, so therefore he's losing in the polls. He's not messaging. Apparently, people only vote for you if you're on the campaign trail and talking in front of them. If not, then they're not going to support you. But Yahoo Finance has come out with an interesting story as well. A clear-cut Biden win is emerging as a bull case for stock markets. With Joe Biden's lead widening in the polls and President Trump's campaign sidelined by the virus, investment strategists now say there's a less of a chance for a contested election. They're going to the point literally where they're saying that it's going to be an uncontested race. The ticket's broken with Trump having the virus, with Mike Pence trying to lead the charge by himself, possibly getting the virus himself too because he's on the campaign trail now, because apparently you're not allowed to campaign. Joe Biden's allowed to go campaign because he campaigns to a field of corn where nobody's around because no one wants to hear him, but he's campaigning, by golly. And they'll give him all the airtime on the media as they possibly can. They'll give him all the time while he's talking to a cornfield by himself, but he's doing it because he's social distancing. It's not because no one wants to see him or hear him or talk to him or look at him, but it's because he's social distancing. This is how stupid the media has become. And because Trump has the virus and is out, therefore he's not on the campaign trail. Therefore, it's going to be an uncontested election in November. And if Trump's out, then Mike Pence is going to be out, and Nancy Pelosi is going to be the president soon, and therefore it's going to be uncontested because the ticket will just be so broken, no one in their likelihood will even vote for President Donald Trump or Mike Pence. Think about that thought process for just a second. And I'm serious. This is not some kind of crazy conspiracy. This is just the way the media is trying to hint at it to put the doubts in your mind. My question is it actually going to work? Is it going to work? Probably not. I know it's not, because people are taking it upon themselves to actually go and campaign without Trump. Trump's been tweeting like crazy. Did you see like the crazy 15, 17, 20 different tweets he did this morning, all of them in caps and said, go vote, go vote, go vote, vote on this issue, vote on this issue, vote on this issue. He's talking about serious issues that he knows the American people want, and he's still out and about. Not to mention the 2-3 different videos that he did while he's had the virus, saying he's learned a lot about it and that he can't wait to show what he's learned about this, to come back to be only in the hospital for 2 days, back at the White House to show that he's on the top of his A game. It's imploding for the Democrats, and I think they're a little desperate trying to show that he doesn't know what he's doing because they're ready for a Nancy Pelosi or for the ticket to be broken.
The voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the show. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Monday. It's radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, however you may be watching or listening to the program. Thanks for that. We appreciate it very much. Here's to wrap it all into a nice little bow today. How they're trying to do it. Now, we've had this virus for how many months now? Let's see. It started off in really February, March-ish. Let's say March, and let's go to October. That's what, March, April, May, June, July, August. That's what, 7 months now. Let's just say 7 to 8 months that we've had this virus. We've had the shutdowns. We've been learning about it. We're also working on vaccines. President Trump says that we have a vaccine coming out in the next few weeks. Democrats think that it's not going to happen until next year. Mass production of the whatever. But we have a general idea of what this virus does, don't we? I get that it can evolve. It can manipulate. It can change. But we have a general idea of the virus because you can't make a vaccine out of something that you don't understand, right? You understand the strain of it. You understand what it does, the impact that it has. That's why they always say if you have a fever, if you're coughing, if you have shortness of breath, if you have a headache, all these different things that are really like a common cold or dehydration or just not feeling well for the day with a regular virus, then those are the kinds of things that you try to say. Then they also said that you could have some other bodily issues as well, and that kind of faded away for a while. Now they're saying, and this ties in with the whole let's try and get rid of Trump out of office and invoke the 25th Amendment because we're desperate to get him off and to try and disrupt the ticket before Election Day. Now they're saying, after 7 months of studying, and all of a sudden this is the big breaking news while Donald Trump has announced that he has it. The headline news today, according to DNYUZ.com, not sure what news source that is, but that's cool. Nearly 1/3 of hospitalized COVID-19 patients experience some type of altered mental function, ranging from confusion to delirium to unresponsiveness, according to the largest study to date in the neurological symptoms among coronavirus patients in the American hospital system. Why do you think that they've come out with a story about mental illnesses and mental issues with COVID patients that were hospitalized at this time in the game? Now, of course, it's the largest study, so maybe they've been studying it across, and I'm not saying it's not a coincidence, but it's kind of a coincidence, isn't it? They've been trying to go after Donald Trump's mental state since the very beginning. In fact, if you remember, shortly after he took office, he had to take an IQ test, and he took a physical, he took a mental test, he took a physical for the physical test, and his doctor went up to the podium in the press room and said, these are my findings, and the media still didn't believe that Donald Trump was in a proper mental state. No, he's crazy. He walks around aimlessly in his robe around the White House. He doesn't know what he's doing. People have to tell him like what to say and what to think. They're mistaking Donald Trump for Joe Biden. They're mistaking Donald Trump for the teleprompter of Barack Obama. They're forgetting they're just a couple years behind things. It's kind of like what trends start in California, like 5 years later are the trends on the East Coast. That's kind of what's happening here with the mainstream media, isn't it? What happened in the Barack Obama, Joe Biden administration, now they're finally coming back like, wow, they really don't know what they're doing. But now it's Donald Trump. So they go after him for his mental state. He takes a mental health test. He does an IQ test that shows that he's extremely smart. He does a physical, shows that he's extremely healthy. Now he gets COVID. He shows a video when he first has it, and he looks a little pale. But hey, I'm doing good. I'm okay. Everything's great. Thanks for the pouring of support. We appreciate it very much. We're going to go in there for preventative measures. It's all going to be great. Like 18 seconds long. Then he goes in there, and he takes a video while he's in there saying, hey, I'm doing all right. These guys are awesome. I'm being taken care of. Everything's hunky-dory. I'm going to do some work while I'm here. We hear the campaign people and staffers all saying that he's all in good spirits. He's joking around. He's laughing with people. Everything's all hunky-dory. Then he says, I'm going to go and say hi to all my supporters. And then they say after 2 days, the doctor's like, yeah, we're going to release him back to the White House this afternoon on a Monday. And yet, now we see a story of third of COVID-19 patients have mental issues, including delirium and confusion. Now, if that's not a sign for the Democrats to jump on board and be like, he has no idea what he's doing, he's incapacitated, he's not in the right state of mind, politically, that's exactly what they're going to, I guarantee it, mark my words on this one, they're going to use that article and use that story to say, you know what, he was in the hospital, he's got COVID, we already think what he's doing is a little loopy because we don't think he's all there in the first place. This is perfect excuse for us to try to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove him from office, shake up the election, get him out of there, and disrupt the election come November. I guarantee in the next 2 days, you're going to see that come out. Someone's going to make a comment about it because that's their desperation showing. You might want to cover up a little bit, your desperation showing just a little bit. It's not going to happen, but they're going to try it. And Trump's going to laugh him off because he's back into it. He's on top of his A game. He's doing his thing and making everything work beautifully. That does it for us today. Podcast going up a little bit. We got great guests all across the board this week. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, be your own voice of reason. Think through these things and spread the word the way we need to each and every day. Make sure to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. It's the voice of reason. Everybody have a great Monday. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.